impossibility. I remember coming across the saying that politics is the art of the possible, and that has always struck me as a wise remark, because deciding what is possible and what is impossible in our lives makes a huge difference. In fact, of course, it's on a continuum. It's not either or. So things are very easy, fairly difficult, just about possible, and impossible. And through our lives, we stretch and then release the boundaries between them. What I learnt early in my life was that things usually look impossible from a distance, but as you come up closer to them, then you see chinks or possibilities, and therefore you should not give up too soon before deciding this is impossible. This was a lesson taught, of course, by the Red Queen to Alice, who was saying about some bit of logic, "Oh, that's impossible, impossible." And the Red Queen said, well, not if you train yourself. If you train yourself, you can believe 1,000 impossible things before breakfast. And it is a matter of training and ambition. And fortunately, through my life, I have had people, my mother, my wife, lots of teachers and friends who have said, "Alan, you can do this." And I remember that as a challenge when I was learning to swim, or when I was learning to ride a bicycle, or all sorts of little things which I would sometimes, out of exasperation or just a lack of strength or something, say, I can't do this. And the same with certain kinds of work, particularly Latin. And people would say, "Alan, you can do it." And I just stop moaning and get on with it. And this was applied to physical things like climbing up to the mountain village and the Himalayas. At times I thought, I can't take another step, but I did. And at times reading a very long and difficult book and thinking I'll never get to the end of this, or writing a book. And I think the secret is partly to look to others, because if we think certain things are impossible, and then we look at what certain human beings, when we watch a great musician, pianist playing, or we read a great author, or we watch a great sportsman, they seem to do impossible things, things you couldn't imagine that the human body and mind could possibly do. And if they can do it, can't you? And that's one good lesson. The second is to look back over your own life and see that many things that seemed insurmountable before you started trying to do them, by breaking them down into bits and by taking it slowly and by working at it and so on, you managed to do it. But of course, the art of the possible also implies that there are moments and things that you cannot do. And that is equally important, because it's no use throwing yourself against a brick wall or a mountain or whatever if you can't climb it. And I remember that throughout my life, putting aside one or two things. I realized that I was small and weak and not a very fast runner. And though I was good enough to be on all the teams in my preparatory school, however hard I tried later on when boys grew bigger and I didn't grow much bigger, there was no way I could be a really top-rate sportsman of any kind, running or football or rugby. And that was just the case. Likewise, in work up to university, I tried really hard at university and nearly got a first-class degree, but really to get a very good first-class degree at that age, however hard I'd tried, wouldn't have been possible. And the same with music. I can play the guitar, but being a really good musician was beyond me. So sort out what is possible, what should be possible if you really want to do it and apply yourself, and the few things like mathematics or music or being a star footballer which are impossible. Good luck.